Live for the first time ever from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, we have invaded the home of the Falcons and the United, and we brought a Monster Jam party. As you can see, the El Toro Loco and Max D mascots are in the house, and joining the fans here in Atlanta, we would like to welcome all of our Monster Jam fans from around the world at facebook.com/Monster Jam. I am Ryan Lacoste, and right now I need you to comment on who you think is going to be crowned Stadium Championship Series 1 champion, and share the video so the world will know the party is in Atlanta this afternoon. You're going to hear from our superstars directly, and we'll preview the action set for the afternoon as we get ready to hand out an invite to the Monster Jam World Finals 19 March 23rd and 24th at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. So let's kick things off and go behind the scenes with our pit reporter, Scott Jordan.
Thanks, Ryan. Down here with Mason, Nor crew chief of Max D. Mason, I got to tell you, man, what a great night you had last night. Overall event champion, in first place in the point series standings. But your night didn't end there, man. You had some issues. Talk a little bit about what you guys did after the event ended.
Neil had a crazy freestyle last night. We broke 3 axles, so me and Coop over here, we tore down all 4 corners and replaced these axles that we had, so we're 100% for today.
So talk about 100%, the pressure is on. Now, does that change anything, knowing that you put 3 new axles on, you got some elbow grease in there? What happens today if the same situation, let's say in racing, what do you guys do? You put 3 more new axles on, or do you just have to kind of wing it and, you know, say, okay, let's see how the race plans out?
The only thing that this changes is Neil just has to drive harder. You know, we got pressure on now, we're in a points lead, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to add some more points racing, hopefully, 2-wheel skill, freestyle, and we're going to kill it.
How many hours would you say you put in last night, you and your crew and Neil, just hanging out in the back of the stadium, putting these new axles on, fine-tuning everything, because tonight is the pinnacle of what we've been waiting for?
We were here until about 3:30 last night, getting everything done, so I hope it's all worth it.
Mason Nor, crew chief of Max D, looking to win that series championship and punch their ticket to World Finals in Las Vegas. Speaking of Max D, let's start off with Neil Elliott, Max D driver.
My name is Neil Elliott. I drive for Team Max D, and I'm from Naples, Florida. I got into Monster Jam 17 years ago. Grew up in a little town, Paxton, Illinois. Knew Tom Mintz before Tom Mintz knew about monster trucks. And started working with him after my regular job in the evenings. And one day he asked me if I'd be interested in driving a monster truck, and it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. It's getting tougher and tougher. You know, there's a lot of good talent out there to try and separate yourself from the rest of the Monster Jam drivers, but we got a few tricks and a few ideas in our mind that we'll probably try in 2018.
He drives the most decorated Monster Jam truck in World Finals history. It's Neil Elliott with Max D. Even brought the Max D mascot with us here to Atlanta. Neil, talk about the hard work of your team thrashing through the night to get Max D ready for the final event of Stadium Championship Series 1.
We had a good go last night. You know, it was awesome. We got some wins, got the points lead back, but it come at a cost. Crew guys out there, 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning, trying to get that thing put back together, but I stayed here the whole time. It's 100%, and we're going to go out there and do it again.
So physically, your Monster Jam truck is ready to go. Last year, it came down to the final freestyle where Todd Leduc and the Mutant Super Soda team came and took right from under you that championship. Are you mentally prepared to battle and take that win, get the event championship, the series championship, and the invite to Las Vegas?
Just looking forward to that invite to Las Vegas. You know, that's what it's all about. Going to come out here, we're going to do what we do, go out there, tear up monster trucks, and entertain Monster Jam fans.
In anywhere that you just mentioned, how important is consistency this afternoon, or is Team Max D just going big or going home?
I've been saying it the whole series. Consistency's the key. Last night was the first freestyle I'd won in this whole series. Believe it or not, but I'm still in the lead. That's what's going to count. Coming out here, being consistent, go some rounds in racing, do good in freestyle, do good in two-wheel competition. We'll stay up there in the top. With any luck, take home some trophies.
Well, he's got the best crew in Monster Jam. He's got the coolest mascot on the planet. Neil Elliott, Max D, looking for Stadium Championship Series 1 championship this afternoon in Atlanta. And right now, it's time to catch up with Exterminator driver J.R. McNeal.
Standing here with a J.R. McNeal and Exterminator. J.R., just last night you were on the track. Now, talk a little bit about, since you've already had a taste of competition on this new track here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, does that affect you in your performance today? Are you going to do anything different?
I don't think I'm going to do anything different. The track looks the same. The ramps are the same angle. You know, the truck, like I was saying earlier, the trucks are fatigued. We've been running hard for a couple weeks now. The points are tight. The competition's tough. You just got to go out here and get your head in the game and pick your course out and make it happen.
So last weekend, you were fortunate enough to get that bye run, skipping round 1, going straight into round 2 this week. And unfortunately, you didn't get so lucky. Now you're competing against Jester. But when you got to skip last weekend, did you kind of sit back and watch the drivers in that round 1 on the course and maybe do something a little bit different on the track, maybe seeing what they're hitting wrong and what you could do different?
Well, now's not the time to change up your driving, your ability, you know. Last night I got lucky, got up to the 3rd round. You know, Jester had some steering problems. Like I said, the trucks are fatigued. You know, he wears that truck out, man, and parts break, and that's what happens. But, you know, I'm racing Todd Leduc for the 1st round today. I saw him drinking a bunch of sugar today. Hopefully he gets the jitters and I get ahead of the game on him.
And, of course, I know you want to give your family a big shout-out. Who is here watching you today?
Yeah, my wife, my 2 lovely daughters, man. I hope they follow Daddy's footsteps and drive monster trucks one day. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, Tyler's already been driving a little bit. We're going to put her back in May, and hopefully in a couple of years she'll be here in Monster Jam.
Best of luck to you tonight. Give it up for J.R. McNeal and Exterminator. Up next, it's time to get to know Matt Pagliarulo, Team Jester.
Matt Pagliarulo, we have seen you get to the racing semifinals quite a few times, but you can't seem to get through that barrier and make it into the finals. I know frustration last night as you made it to the semifinals, had to back out. Is tonight the night that you can get that monkey off your back and advance into that racing final?
It needs to be. We've been working hard on this truck. We were here till 5:30 this morning, getting this truck ready after last night's show. Our crew is giving 110%, the whole family, every one of my crew guys. I want to put this truck out there in the final round and put it all on the line to try and win this thing in front of these great fans here.
Now we are approaching World Finals in Las Vegas, March 23rd and 24th. Last year you were the Rising Star, the 2017 Rising Star. If you get invited back to World Finals, what are your expectations and what would you like for Matt Pagliarulo and Jester to accomplish?
Well, last year we were there, it was first time, so we may have had a little bit of nervous jitters. We've got experience now. We're on this great tour, the Stadium Series Tour 1, and it's given us nothing but momentum. So going into World Finals, if I get invited back for 2018, we're going to put this truck out there. If we get invited to Double Down Showdown, we're going to go out there and win to go in the big show so we can freestyle this just delayed and show everybody why we got Rising Star last year.
This is your 2017 Rising Star, Matt Pagliarulo and Jester, looking to win racing tonight. And the whole thing, up next, it is El Toro Loco driver Brian Wright.
When you mess with the bull, you get the horns. I'm here with Brian Wright, the driver of El Toro Loco and the El Toro Loco mascot. Always a good time at the pit party. And if you get a chance, take a picture at hashtag Monster Jam. Brian, we've been on the road for 7 straight weeks now, and here in Atlanta this weekend, your family came to check you out. How does that make you feel knowing that they're in your corner?
Anytime I got my family on my side, you know, that's awesome to have them here. They support me in everything I do. You know, I travel and miss birthdays and everything, you know, some holidays. We're out here with the Monster Jam fans, but I got the people at home standing behind me every week that I come out to support everything I do, and I love them all for that. Glad they could be here with me this week. Got all this, you know, this new building and a new stadium in Atlanta. Glad to be in here. My first stadium show I ever did was in the old dome. Now I'm starting out in the new one, so I'm ready to rock and roll.
Well, and speaking of taking a trip down memory lane, getting to compete on another Stadium Championship Series. I'll never forget that time Adam Anderson landed on you in Gravedigger in Indy. So going through all of these different series that you've been a part of, what do you take away from this year and these athletes that you've been competing against week after week?
It's hard to take anything from them. Everyone out here, you know, there's 14 of the best trucks. You got Neil, Adam, all of them are good. I can't say anything about one driver. It's great to be out here with them. You know, you got all the great competition. And, you know, we're all friends behind the scenes. But when we put the helmet on, everybody's ready to rock and roll.
So what do you need from these Atlanta fans to put El Toro Loco in the top spot, walking out with this bad boy right here at the end of the afternoon?
I just need them to take that merchandise they got. They had it all in the pit party, man. It was great to see them all out there. Get on their feet, get loud, cheer, and we'll rock these trucks.
Well, when you see El Toro Loco on the floor, put the bullhorns up. When you see the mascot, hashtag Monster Jam. And now it's time to get to know Shane England, the birthday boy and driver of Big Kahuna.
My name is Shane England from Paris, Texas. Been driving since 2013. Started helping a team out of South Texas, progressed into driving, and then decided to buy my own truck and went to the first show, and I was hooked right off the bat. Always been a fan of monster trucks, just never thought I'd have the opportunity to get around it. I'd like to be known for, you know, speed is one thing. That's where I invest a bunch of money is in motors and stuff, and trying electronic fuel injection. That's where I'm at right now, and want to be known as somebody that innovates the sport, you know, brings something new. Him winning the Double Down this year was probably the biggest thrill of my life. I mean, I've had the kid racing since he was 5 years old, so I've progressed him from 5 years old all the way up to monster trucks, and it's been a thrill ride just to see it all. And then this year in Vegas was probably the most emotional weekend I've ever had, and it was the biggest day of my life, and it was like I won it, you know. It was awesome.
Hanging out with the birthday boy in the house, Shane England, Big Kahuna. Shane, we've got to talk about your epic freestyle last weekend. You literally tore the whole back end off of your truck. I know your crew has spent many hours, as well as you, spent many hours trying to get it back ready for competition today here in Atlanta.
Yeah, we went big in Miami. I mean, we try to go big every night, but we went big last week and skied it out, and the roof was open, looking at the stars straight up in the air, and then it came down, and I thought I broke a wheel off. I'd already lost the roof. So I got out of the roof, and I stick my hands up. The crowd goes nuts. I turn around and look. The axle's not even under the truck. The whole rear end sitting up behind me. So I was like, oh, man, this is going to be a busy week. And then so once we got it finally out of the building, and then we got it to the trailer, it was like 7 in the morning by the time we got the axle under it and the tires on it. Then the next day headed to Palomento to go to FELD's office, and they were like, man, whatever you need, we're going to be here for you. We want you in Atlanta. Brand new dome. It's going to be awesome here tonight. This is my birthday. This is freestyle on my birthday, and I go nuts every year. But all week, man, I mean, 2 or 3 hours sleep a day is all I got all week. We come out here last night, we're planning on burning it down, and then one hit freestyle, and I had a shock issue. So me and my buddy old Jim Kohler in that Avenger truck stayed up till about 5-something this morning rebuilding shocks, and got up after a couple hours sleep and went right at it this morning. So I can't thank him enough, man. Him and his team, we've been helping each other all year, and it's a family here. I mean, it's a family sport, but I mean, all the teams, all the drivers, we're all family. We help each other out, and it really showed this week.
Well, speaking about family, of course, your son, Ty England, a World Finals champion, is on his very own tour, and he is totally rocking out his points on his very own tour. Talk about how proud you are as his father, and of course, you could be directly competing against him if you get that bid in the Monster Jam World Finals.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, he texted me this morning at 6 o'clock, and he was just trying to catch me early, be the first one to say happy birthday. So I FaceTimed him right back, and I said, dude, I hadn't been back to sleep yet. And he was asking me all the issues, so he was trying to get in, you know, and he's telling me about his tour. And the kid's like 100 points in the lead right now. I mean, he'd have to just quit racing the rest of the year to not win. So me and my wife, we're so proud of him and all he's done, his accomplishments last year with the double down, throw down, and we talked a lot of trash last year. So we just called each other out in the shop last week, and it was like, man, we're going to run each other in practice. If we won't get to race each other heads up in a legit show, we're going to run in practice together. So hopefully we'll get the chance to do it for real, but we're going to do the grudge match race either way.
Best of luck to you tonight. Is one more time for Shane England and Big Kahuna.
We know fans are amazed at what these trucks and drivers can do on the floor to put on some incredible performances. But every athlete will tell you it's not just what happens behind the wheel. The technology of today's Monster Jam truck, along with the hard work of our crew chiefs and technicians, allows our athletes to perform at the highest level. For more on that, let's rejoin Scott Jordan in the pits.
Now, here in the beautiful Mercedes-Benz Stadium next weekend, you're going to see Monster Energy AMA Supercross tearing up the track. But in 2018, it is also the home of Atlanta United. And next week, Saturday, March 3rd, Atlanta United kicks off their 2018 season in Houston against the Dynamo. So I got one of these fantastic Atlanta United soccer balls. I want to show you a little something. Now, when you guys watch a soccer game, you see the soccer ball, it gets kicked, it bounces a lot. So I'm going to give you a little example of that. If I throw that bad boy down, it's just going to bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce. So comparatively speaking, how do we take a soccer ball and a Monster Jam truck and we make them alike? Well, I'm going to tell you how we do that. When you see these Monster Jam trucks and they weigh 12,000 pounds, when you see them come off that freestyle ramp and get that major air, they're going to come down, they're going to land on all four 650-pound BKT tires, and they are going to give a little bounce to them. They're going to bounce just like that soccer ball. It keeps our drivers safe. Now, how do we do that? You say, well, forget the fact that they weigh 12,000 pounds. When they come off that freestyle ramp, it's more like 96,000 pounds of pressure. So, I want to point out this right here, this is a shock off a 93 Dodge Ram pickup truck. You see that size there? It's pretty big, actually, even for an automobile. So I'm now going to show you what a shock for a Monster Jam truck looks like. It's right here. Now, this is pretty heavy. A big shout out to our crew guys for lifting this up. I'm going to show you how heavy this is. Hang on to the microphone for just a second. Imagine have to carry this thing from one end of the stadium to another. When these things break, it's very serious business, and our crew chiefs are back there working hard to get these things in. I want to show you a little bit. We got a coil back over here. You might ask, why nitrogen? Why not air? Nitrogen is an inert gas. It does not expand and contrast like air. We need something that's going to give a little more stick. We take one of these pumps here. I'm going to show you, we put this right here. It's going to go in just like that. It is missing a piece, but it's going to go in like that. We have this side here that's going to go into that nitrogen bottle. Once everything is screwed on, we're going to put this lever down and fill this up with nitrogen. Once it gets on the truck, you're going to see it looks just like this. I'm going to bring in Mutant Super Soda crew chief, Nick. These shocks, they're very safe. You have to have them because if even one breaks, you're going to lose that pressure. It's almost like, you know, stiff as a board, light as a feather. How do we take this stiff as a board truck, make it light as a feather? So talk a little bit about the process. Let's show all these great fans how you would take one of these shocks off and put one back on.
First, I got to climb up inside of here. And we got jam nuts on the top and the bottom of the shock. We loosen those. It allows the shock to pivot a little bit, makes it easier to get in and out. And then we have a bolt on the top and the bottom. You loosen and take those both out, and the shock comes right out. You put the next one in and do the reverse order. Put the bolts in and tighten the jam nuts back up.
All right, thank you, Nick. So just to show you how important these are, a little while ago, Gravedigger was actually out in the stadium before the pit party, outside the stadium, out back there. Now the shock tower right here split in two, so crew chief Roos was back there welding away, trying to get this to be in one piece. If you have a shock tower that is split in two, you can't send your driver off a freestyle ramp. You can't do much of anything. It's not safe. So there are 8 on each truck. You got 2 here, 2 on the other side, 2 on each side of the back. It just goes to show you how tender these big 12,000-pound trucks are. But we're trying to keep our drivers safe. We do the best we can. And now you can call me the Shockmaster. So while we're talking about Gravedigger, let's go ahead and get to know Gravedigger driver Adam Anderson.
My name is Adam Anderson. I'm from Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. I'm the driver of Gravedigger. There's definitely added pressure following my father's footsteps. You know, he's built this legacy that's been around for 35 years, which is Gravedigger. And here I am. I've grown up in it. I've been a part of it. I've been behind the scenes, you know, and a lot of people may think that it was just handed to me. It wasn't. I started from the bottom, and here I am. I'm almost to the top. I'll never feel his footsteps. That's not possible, I don't feel, but I want to be right behind him. My kids are so into Monster Jam, and you know, they are into dad driving. A lot of times they argue whether it's me, my sister, or whether it's Tyler Meninga or Morgan. I do it for them too. You know, it's the fans and my kids. They drive me to go to these shows. My kids actually tell me what to do. They're 5 and 2 years old, and they say, "You need to jump backwards this weekend, Dad." I'm like, "All right, I'm on it."
Here with the 4-time World Finals champion, Adam Anderson, driver of Gravedigger, and some Monster Jam VIPs, Maddox and Tucker. You can be VIP at the next Monster Jam event you attend when you get your tickets at monsterjam.com. So you first, you got a question for Adam Anderson. What is it?
What do you love about Atlanta?
What do I love about Atlanta? It's coming here to a brand new stadium last night and rocking the house, and we're going to do it again today because Atlanta has the best fans in the entire world, man.
And then what about you? You got a question for Adam too?
How are you going to win tonight?
Why you want to ask me that right now, man? I'm so nervous. No, man, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to tear these boys up. They don't know what's coming for them yet.
So this afternoon, we crown Stadium Championship Series 1 champion, give out the invite to the Monster Jam World Finals 19. Someone will be the first person to ever win 2 Stadium Series championships. Is it going to be Adam Anderson and Gravedigger?
Man, I really hope it's going to be me tonight because I don't want to hear anybody cry about it. That's for dang sure. I want to have some fun, rock the house, and leave out of here holding that trophy high above my head.
So what is Adam Anderson's plan in his head to make sure Team Gravedigger wins the event championship? You get enough points to jump over Neil Elliott because right now you're 4 points behind in second.
I'm going to be calm, cool, and collective inside that truck, but it's not going to show on the outside because I'm a different person once I get behind that wheel. I'm going to show you fans a thing or two tonight.
He's here in the black and green wrecking machine. Adam Anderson and Gravedigger is ready to rock the house. And right now, let's get to know Brianna Mahan, driver of Whiplash.
It's a party here in the stands with Brianna Mahan and Whiplash. Brianna, let's get into the details about last weekend. It was your first weekend back since you had 2 weeks off from an injury, and now you're back here in Atlanta ready to compete. You did extremely well in freestyle last weekend, and last night you had a solid run. The ladies in the stands were going wild and crazy for you. So what does that mean to have the support of all the women fans here in Monster Jam?
It's so awesome. You know, my mom was sitting up at the very top of the stadium and she said the girls were just screaming, and it's crazy when I'm out there in that truck during freestyle, I'm driving around, I can hear you guys. So the more you guys cheer, the harder I'm gonna drive, the bigger I'm gonna go.
So let's get into talking about the actual Whiplash team. So you had a big part of designing your truck, designing your merchandise, and truly making it a Brianna Mahan brand. So what was that like for you to have that experience under your belt, and of course being able to say, that's right, this truck represents me?
It's such an honor, and you know, no other athletes, they get to do this. They don't get to design their very own truck and their merchandise, and I really wanted it to touch every female out there and really just, you know, hit home with everybody, and I think we really accomplished that in all of the different designs. Everybody loves the color, and everybody just loves that good down-home country truck.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, best of luck to you tonight. Ladies in the house, make it noise for Brianna, Mahan, and Whiplash. Up next, it's time to get to know Steve Sims and Stone Crusher.
My name is Steve Sims. I'm out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I drive Stone Crusher. Got into Monster Jam back in 2005. 14 years later, here we are. When you step on that loud pedal and you're taking off, it's a good feeling to hear the fans cheer. It just excites you even more than the horsepower. Whether I win, whether I lose, I have fun. I come back with a smile on my face no matter what. I've always told the drivers that have worked with me, we don't want to get booed. Just go out there, give it all we've got, and just keep building and keep building. And then when I'm done and I step down to hand this thing over to my kids, I've built them a team to carry on.
Steve Sims, Stone Crusher. Steve, we've known all season long how talented of a driver you are. We know Sims a driver, but what some of these fans don't know is that not only are you a star driver for Monster Jam, you are a business owner, a team owner, and a proud dad. Man, how do you balance that personal, professional life and bring that into Monster Jam?
You know, it is tough. You know, I work Monday through Thursday nights, early Friday mornings, then I'm on an airplane. I'm headed here with you guys. Tonight, when Stone Crusher lands, whatever shape it's in, I'll be running back to the airport to fly back home and start it all over again. And then I've got a son. You know, he's Steven Sims Jr. He's out there in Anaheim. He won last night driving Scooby-Doo. Super proud of him. Me and him work together during the week, and we travel sometimes together, sometimes apart all weekend.
You have an amazing story as to how you got involved in Monster Jam. I want you to tell all the fans watching at Facebook and the fans here in Atlanta just a little bit about how you got involved and how you got here today.
You know, the short story is my crew chief that's back home, Tommy Powers, he used to be Dennis Anderson's crew chief back in the day when they first got rolling. Tommy told me, he says, hey man, they said, I got Dennis on the phone. He needs some granite countertops, some custom tops. I said, that's cool. I got 2 young boys. I think they were like 5 and 10 at the time. I said, you tell Big Daddy, I want Gravedigger in the front yard, and we'll get him some custom countertops. We got to messing around in there, playing in the sandbox, Dennis singing on karaoke to my boys. It come about that Rick Disharoon was selling the old backdraft truck. Dennis called me up. We went and bought it. That was in 2004, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
Steve Sims, Stone Crusher, looking to crush the competition tonight. Up next, it's Megalodon's Alex Blackwell.
My name is Alex Blackwell, driver of the Megalodon Monster Jam truck. I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I've been competing since 2005. My driving style is kind of technical. I was never a racer. I was just a freestyle guy, and I know I have 2 minutes to fill, and I just give it my all. I planned one freestyle and it didn't work, and I said I would never do it again, so now I just wing it. 2018, I get to do a stadium tour, and just exposure, man. Getting Megalodon out there and showing that I could do it. You know, I should be out there, and I'm coming to a town near you.
He is finit to win it in the prehistoric beast Megalodon, Alex Blackwell. Alex sitting in 4th on Stadium Championship Series 1. The championship is out of reach, but you can be a spoiler this afternoon for Max D, Mutant, and Gravedigger. Does that kind of give you some power going into this afternoon's competition?
That's how I am each and every week, and I'm a spoiler, and they know it, and I'm coming on strong. I might not win a championship, but I'll gain a few more fans, and then we'll be back here again next year.
Coming up in a few weeks, we have Biloxi and Raleigh, and then you're going international. Where's Alex Blackwell taking Megalodon in 2018?
Well, we're going to Germany, Cardiff, Wales, Norway, Poland, a bunch of other places that ain't guaranteed yet. So if you go on monsterjam.com and look under tickets, it shows every place that we're going, no matter where it is all over the country, Australia, South America. So check it out, and if you want to go, man, the shows are almost as good as Atlanta.
All right, too, and we got some more VIPs. We got Lincoln, Jamie, and Robbie. First, we got, brother, you got a question for Alex Blackwell and Megalodon.
What's your favorite part about driving Megalodon?
Well, last night I think in Anaheim when the body come off, the fans went crazy. And as a driver, when you hear that, you just want to go even more, bigger and better. And it was just a good time. So you got a ticket for the show. Stay tuned and you'll see what's fun about it.
And you could see Alex Blackwell waving as the body was flying off. What about you, man? Are you a big Megalodon fan too?
Go Gravedigger!
Well, he can't help it. He'll grow out of it.
So if you're a big fan of Alex Blackwell and Megalodon, be sure to cheer him on tonight. And now it's time to catch up with Bryce Kenny, the driver of Great Clips Mohawk Warrior.
My name is Bryce Kenny. I'm the driver of the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior Monster Jam truck. I'm from Kernersville, North Carolina, and this is going to be my 3rd year driving a Monster Jam truck. So I've been involved in motorsports my entire life. You know, I started working at our family drag strip up in Clay City, Kentucky. But my grandfather is one of the true pioneers of the sport, and I'm just so blessed that the guy was able to let me kind of ride his coattails for a while. My grandfather started out on old abandoned airstrips, souping up Chevrolets in the 1960s, and here I am 3 generations later, and carrying on the family dream of being involved in motorsports and thankfully being involved in Monster Jam. And it's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Well, hanging out with Bryce Kenny and Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Bryce, this is the first time that you've gotten to compete in this beautiful stadium. Last night, you got to have the opportunity to go to the winner's circle and meet some very special fans. I know that had to mean so much to you, as well as the fans that actually got to experience meeting you and getting to know who you are, Bryce Kenny.
Well, what's so fun, being a part of Monster Jam like it is, and just the family dynamic and the family environment that Monster Jam creates, that's really special for me. And you know, this Great Clips Mohawk Warrior team, I get some of the best messages from some of you Monster Jam fans on social media, and got to get introduced to a little guy named Ollie. And my man is doing a tremendous job and battling a disease that is one of the toughest out there in the world to fight. And but you know what? He said, you know, he nicknamed himself Mohawk Warrior. And when I get messages like that from true warriors, you know, I wear a warrior across my chest, but when I get to meet real warriors like a lot of you that are right here in this stadium as well, that's really, really special for me. We got to entertain Ollie a little bit all season, or all night long in the winter circle last night, and have him meet all of these awesome athletes. And it was really, really special for me to be able to do that. And he was my honorary Mohawk Warrior. He was one of our Warrior Wednesday posts that we try to put out there just to get their stories out so that you guys can to meet some of the real warriors out there in the world.
Love it. Let's rewind it back to freestyle when you had a great run, an incredible save. I don't even know what you did. It was like a bicycle, and then you're on your side, and you did some crazy stuff. So was it planned? How did you execute it?
I wish that was planned. If you want to see the video, go on social media. Go on my Instagram at Warrior Bryce, or on Facebook at Warrior Bryce, and you'll see the video. But you know, we right over here in the corner, I got the truck unfortunately on its side. It was completely on its side on the sidewalls of those big giant BKT tires. Spun around almost 3 full times right there on the sidewalls. I guess it's a sidewall donut. I don't know what you want to call it. It wasn't exactly a planned move, but it was fun. I was pulling some G-forces when we were getting that thing back on all fours. Crowd went nuts. I went nuts. And we're ready for a little bit more Monster Jam freestyle action tonight.
The crowd was definitely going nuts for you. And of course, you had your beautiful wife, your 2 beautiful baby girls that are right here for the first time this weekend, getting to see their daddy compete right here at Monster Jam. Talk about the emotion that was going through your head. And you even had your oldest baby on your hip in an interview during the show.
Yeah, it was so special. anytime that you get the family involved in a dream, and I think everybody out there can relate, when things are right at home, you can really go out and chase your dreams at a level I don't think that you could do otherwise. And so, family always comes first. But to have them out here living this part of our story together is so special. And I was emotional before the show last night just because of how family-oriented we have been. I'm a third-generation Monster Jam or motorsports athlete, first generation in Monster Jam. And so the families involved, they want to be involved. And it's so special to have them experience that. And then to have 50,000 people here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium get to meet them as well. I mean, my 3-year-old was living the dream last night. She may not remember it, but we got plenty of video. She'll get a kick out of it in 10 years.
Hey, well, best of luck to you tonight. I know your family, again, is watching you today. Make some noise one more time for Bryce Kenny and Great Clips Mohawk Warrior.
So, Scott Jordan, 7 weeks ago, we kicked off Stadium Championship Series 1 in Anaheim. San Diego, back to Anaheim. Glendale, Houston, last week Miami, now here for the first time ever at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Atlanta will crown our Stadium Championship Series 1 champion. And I'm more excited than when I was a kid in the sandbox. The only difference, Georgia Clay. And for the first time ever, someone is going to be crowned a Stadium Series champion twice in their career. A big moment. And the top three, Max D, Gravedigger, and Mutant. Only 9 points separates our top three.
And you said it, and we've preached about this all season long. It didn't start this way when we took the track at Anaheim for the first week, but it ended by the time the night was over. It's been the same 3 Monster Jam trucks, the same 3 drivers all year long. We have only had 4 occasions, 4 competitions where another Monster Jam truck has won a competition other than Gravedigger, other than Mutant Super Soda, other than Max D. So they've dominated. All 3 of them, they have flip-flopped back and forth from first to second to third, and it just seems like they're taking turns on a carousel. It spins round and round and round. Neil Elliott, Max D, dominated last night, put himself over into first with a bit of a lead on Todd, Leduc, and Mutant. Of course, Adam Anderson, Gravedigger right there in second place. So I feel like we're going to see a little bit of the same today, but if you ask drivers like Alex Blackwell and Megalodon, Matt Pagliarulo and Jester, they're going to be bracket busters. They're going to be that 12th seed that upsets the 5th seed in racing. So it's going to be incredibly interesting to watch how that America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses Racing bracket pans out.
Well, yesterday, I know a lot of our drivers were not happy with the way the bracket laid out. They felt Max D had a pretty easy run to the final round. But unfortunately, Neil Elliott, Max D, hasn't been able to close against Adam Anderson and Gravedigger or Todd Leduc and Mutant. And last night, he faced Gravedigger and the same result. So for Neil Elliott to comfortably walk through this afternoon, I think he has to take the racing win. It's obvious that he can run and take that Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge. And last night was his first freestyle win of the year. So if Neil Elliott can be consistent, this afternoon, he gets that invite to Vegas, and I'm going to guess, and I'm willing to say, I think Neil Elliott goes on to win a World Finals Championship this year.
I like that, and Neil, he's great from both lanes. He prefers the left lane a lot more. Of course, that driver's seat is on the left-hand side. We saw yesterday on the right side, he was turning a little bit wide coming out of the turn, so he starts in the right lane tonight. I know he's ready to go. He's confident. I like that racing pick. I do think Neil Elliott and Max D will win racing. I like the overall event championship as well. I think Neil Elliott gets that overall event championship and does punch his ticket to World Finals. But let's go to two-wheel skills challenge, the Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge. I want to thank my friends at America's Best for providing me with this poster. My prediction for the Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge is Adam Anderson in Gravedigger. That's my prediction. So you guys have these posters. Hold them up tonight.
Well, after yesterday, I think Todd Leduc in Mutant Super Soda could be coming back with a vengeance. He's got that fire inside, that never give up attitude. You saw it last year, the last freestyle of the series, and he went on to win that championship. And remember, you Atlanta fans get to pick 2 of our 3 competition winners this afternoon to help pick our Stadium Series 1 champion and give that invite to the Monster Jam World Finals. So let's see what the fans think. Taylor, who do they think is going to be our series champion?
Well, Ryan, as you know, it is all about the fans right here at Monster Jam. And yes, I'm going to ask them right now, who is your pick, buddy, for racing?
Gravedigger.
And what is your name and what's your pick for freestyle?
My name's Gary, and it's Max D.
Max D coming on down. Your pick for freestyle and racing.
Well, I'm repping Ice Cream Man, so I'm going to have to go with Roy Pridgeon and Ice Cream Man for freestyle and JR McNeal for racing.
All right, moving on down. Your last pick. Who do you think's going to take freestyle tonight?
Win. Say Megalodon.
Megalodon fans in the house. Wow, that was across the board, as you can see. But guess what? It's still time to get to know some more drivers. Up next, we're going to get to know Todd, Leduc, and Mutant.
I'm Todd Leduc, the driver of Mutant. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and I've been competing since 2011. A lot of people ask how I got into motorsports. My father's a legendary off-road driver, and my brother also competes, so we're a big racing family. We've been competing for almost 20 years in the dirt world, and I wanted to do something else that was crazier, bigger, and Monster Jam was the way to do it. I drive wide open, I drive for the fans, I drive for my sponsors. I just want to put on the best show I can. I did see my 2018 schedule, and I saw the same lineup as I had last year with all the past champions, and it's a lot of big dogs out there. They're going to be coming at me. You know, I was the last year's champion, and I thrive on pressure. I love it. A lot of people buckle. I thrive on it. I love that feeling of having to perform week in and week out for Mutant and all my fans.
He is the two-time World Finals champion and last year's series champion, Todd Leduc, in the Mutant Super Soda Monster Jam truck. Todd, last night, not how you envisioned it. How does Todd Leduc bounce back in the Mutant Monster Jam truck and do the same, the unthinkable that you did last year in the last freestyle to take this championship?
You know, I'm like one of those dogs. Once you corner me, I bite. So we're in the corner right now. We're going to come out swinging like I normally do. I'm just not going to think. I'm going to ride the lightning. That's our catchphrase. And Nick gave me the green light. Drive this truck till it doesn't drive anymore.
And what have your wife, Melissa, and your sons, Swayze and Cruz, how have they given you support? Because I saw her commenting on some of your pictures last night. What did they say to you about this afternoon?
They said, bring that trophy home, you know, and I made a promise to Cruz that I was going to do the best, you know, job I can, and this championship's not over. There's no doubt. So we're going to keep applying pressure. I have a great bracket on my side for racing, and then in two-wheel, try to unleash it, and then freestyle, shut that common sense switch off, and go big for all you Atlanta fans.
9 points behind Max D. Let's hope if you don't win that the locks aren't changed when you get home. So now let's bring out the Shawley family, some more VIPs. We got our Mutant Super Soda hat. We got Jack right here. Why don't you ask Todd Leduc a question?
How do you become a monster truck driver?
You know what? I had a dream. I came from a small town, and I was determined to be a Monster Jam driver, and I did whatever it took. I got good grades in school. I had a lot of fun, stayed out of trouble, and here I am living the dream. Unbelievable, meeting awesome fans like you.
And we got some awesome parents over here, too. I hear Dad wants to give a shout-out real quick.
Yeah, you know, you don't get this opportunity very often, but we're from Charleston Fire Department. June 18th, 2007, lost 9 in a Silver Superstore fire, and of course all of our September 11th fallen. I just want to give a shout out while everybody's here. You know, we don't do it for the recognition, we don't do it for the money, we do it because it's what we were called to do. So while everybody's here, if they could all just give a round of applause for everybody that's in presence for the ones that do what we do, military, first responder, you know, police.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And a thank you to our first responders and the men and women of our armed services. And now it's time to check in with Brad Allen, driver of Monster Mutt Rottweiler.
Brad Allen, what a season you've had. What a series you've had. You are currently standing in 7th place. Talk a little bit about your journey from Anaheim to Atlanta and how you feel you progressed.
Definitely progressing, pushing myself harder and harder every weekend, trying to get faster on the racing. Last weekend I got 2 semifinals each day, and so it's been going good so far. I could wish the season was going longer so I could keep getting faster and faster, but today's the last show of the season for us, and we'll just push it in the trailer if we have to.
And you're saying that you're getting faster and faster, while a lot of these Monster Jam trucks are getting a little more ragged, a little more tired. You somehow continue to get faster as we progress from practice to round one, and you're coming off of back-to-back semifinal performances last weekend. So how does Brad Allen, Monster Mutt Rottweiler, continue to get faster? What are there any tricks that you guys are doing back after the shows? Anything that you're doing differently?
I'm just going out there having fun, just doing our thing. I'm really not concentrating as much. I'm just trying to go out there, have a good time, put on a good show for all these fans, and keep the adrenaline rush going. It's, I don't know, it's just something of a lifetime to be able to compete with all these guys.
If we look at the America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses Racing bracket, your round one matchup, Team Scream, Teammate Jim Kohler. You guys have lined up quite a few times on this series. What's it like? I talked to Jim earlier at Pit Party, but what's it like for you lining up against the guy who mentored you, who you work for, and now you're competing against?
Oh, it's all about bragging rights. It's a long ride home when you beat the boss, that's for sure. But no, it's fun. We push each other harder and harder for sure. I have more fun racing him than I do anybody else just because I can rub it in his face. But hopefully we have a good race tonight.
It's Brad Allen, Monster Mutt Rottweiler. Up next, it's time to put your cones up for Roy Pridgeon in Ice Cream Man.
Here's Roy Pridgeon, the driver of Ice Cream Man. When you hear that sweet music, you gotta put your cones up, Roy. This is the first time we've been this year, facebook.com/Monster Jam for Monster Jam Live. So why don't you explain to our fans around the world and here for the first time how we got this whole put your cones up thing rolling?
I tell you what, it started kind of as a joke back in Anaheim a few weeks ago. We were talking about some sort of catch move for us to do on social media. We came up with put your cones up, and man, it has absolutely exploded. The fans have gone crazy with it. So every time I come out for freestyle, I see more and more people doing it, and all that does is drive me harder.
That's awesome, and we got some big fans of Roy Pridgeon, the Silhan Party. If y'all want to come over here, we got some more VIPs. You can be VIP at Monster Jam. You just get your tickets at monsterjam.com. All right, so who wants to ask the first question here? The question was, do you like sherbet ice cream?
Absolutely. I love all kinds of ice cream. Sherbet's one of my favorite, but as most people already know, chocolate chip cookie dough is definitely at the top of my list.
And we got one more ice cream related question. Here it is right here. Go for it.
What type of ice cream would you give to Gravedigger?
What type of ice cream would I give Gravedigger? I'd say melted ice cream for him. Put your cones up.
Hi, put your cones up for Roy Pridgeon and Ice Cream Man, and now it's time to hang out with Mr. Excitement, Jim Kohler, driver of Avenger.
Well, here he is, Jim Kohler and Team Avenger. Jim, let's talk about last night. You made it into the semi-final round, unfortunately. Gravedigger taking the win for that race. However, when you are sitting in your truck in that moment, how do you kind of calm yourself and keep everything collected right before you go into a big race like semifinal round?
Oh, there's no calming me. I drink a can of Mountain Dew, chow on some cotton candy. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm lined up there to race those guys, man. They know I'm on full kill. I'm going to rock it out. He was just that much faster, that's all. But tonight, we got him on our list. We'll take him down.
It's been an exciting couple of months on the Stadium One Championship Series Tour. It's really a bittersweet night because we're going to be ending this tour and crowning our series champion. Of course, you've gotten close to many of the athletes on the track. So what is it going to be like for you to kind of step back for a little bit from competing with these guys? Are you going to miss them? They've kind of become a family, right?
Yeah, you miss them a little bit, but it's not the end. It's the beginning, honestly. It's the end of this series, but the beginning of the World Finals and all the craziness that's going to happen on the POD Tour this summer. These guys will be running with them all year, so it's just the end of this series. It's awesome. It's an awesome ending to the day here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's great. I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Well, I know you love the Monster Jam World Finals, and you go pretty much every year that you have been competing, a World Finals champion yourself. It will be coming up in just a few weeks. You got to tell these fans why they've got to grab their tickets right now on monsterjam.com.
Well, I encourage every fan here to come out to Vegas. If you like what you see here tonight, Vegas is like on steroids. It's the Super Bowl of monster trucks. Come out there, watch us compete. It's 32 trucks competing. There's 100 trucks on display. It is the awesomest, most wildest show you'll ever see.
And without further ado, Jim Kohler, I'm going to let you sign off.
Hey, all you fans on Facebook Live, and all you fans here in Atlanta, Georgia, are you ready for Monster Jam? Yeah!
Thank you for joining us this afternoon for our edition of Monster Jam Live on Facebook. Be sure to check monsterjam.com at the end of the event to find out who gets crowned our Stadium Championship Series 1 champion, gets the invite to the Monster Jam World Finals. And if you want to know when it happens, facebook.com/monsterjam. In just a few hours, you will be able to watch and find out who gets that invite to the Monster Jam World Finals 19, March 23rd and 24th at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. And while you're at monsterjam.com, make sure you get your VIP experience upgrades, and you can hang out with everyone here at Monster Jam. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube for updates, highlights, and more. So keep checking back for our next Monster Jam Live on Facebook. And in about 3 hours, we'll be back to crown our Stadium Championship Series 1 champion. From Atlanta, you guys have a good afternoon.